Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome again. I'm fine, by the way. So, fun fact, I just took my meds and they might be stuck in my throat. So, yeah, I also had a vertigo attack just a second ago, but we ball. We'll see how long we can get there. We can prolong the inevitable. Anyway, hi, how are you? Today we are reading The Disabled Times Beloved Pet Fish, Book 3. I am a little bit sleepy because that vertigo attack kind of took it out of me just now. It's bodies are crazy. Things happen. It's normal kind of. Anyway, how are you? I hope you're okay. Things are crazy these days. If you probably know this, but there are crazy fires in LA, of which I live in. I do live in LA. So that was a bit spooky. I am fine. All of my property is fine. It was quite far away from me, but it's also terrifying. What the fuck? Fuck this stupid. Okay. You know what? It's crazy the things that happen when you take the funding away from the fire department, and yeah, put that into the pocket of the fucking. We're fine. Almost had to evacuate? Yeah. Oh my god, there was an evacuation warning. They were like, oh, evacuate. And then, like, 10 minutes later, they were like, uh oh, never mind. Oopsie. Get your shit together! Get your shit together! It's fine though. We can still smell the ash in the air. It's awful. And, if anybody is living in LA or surrounding LA, honestly, anywhere close to LA, anywhere close to the fires or whatever, I don't know how, but you're echoing. Okay. Interest. Oh, my reverb is on. Sorry, I was messing with stuff earlier. Thank you for letting me know. Now it's off. Oh, oh my god, I could have done that whole stream with this whole stream with my reverb on. Oh, it's fine. But yeah, if you're gonna go outside in LA, wear a mask. Now more than ever. I mean, you should be wearing a mask anyway, but seriously, because there's literally poison in the air. And also, be careful about your pets. Because dogs can't wear masks. Cats can't. Anyway, we're good. No more echo, right? No more echo. I was preparing for karaoke stream stuff, which I will still be doing on Sunday. My throat might not be in the best condition, given, what I just said, but we'll still go through with it, I think. Unless something crazy pops up, we're going through with it. So yeah. Alright, I have tea. I'm gonna stretch a little. Actually, I want to check if my mix it up is working because I have it on. But just real quick, I want to check if it works. Let me give myself a head pat. Oh my god, it works! Let's go! Oh my god, it finally works. Alright, let's do this though. We are on chapter 87 called Fishy Babies Change Color. Fishy babies change color. Let's get into it. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm ready. I don't know why I have it's so difficult to just start. Okay, it's fine. The most difficult part is starting. Okay. The emperor was shocked. He was only meant to be rewarding a subordinate. How had they reached the idea of marriage? Prince Jing insisted on calling the marriage a reward, and the Emperor had told him to figure out the reward by himself. He had several messages as proof. Remembering how Prince Jing had asked several times, the Emperor realized Prince Jing had tricked him. He hadn't really been worrying over the reward. He had wanted to make the marriage happen from the start. After the initial shock subsided, the Emperor was furious. He was angry that Prince Jing dared to trick him, and also that Prince Jing chose a male consort. There was no ban on homosexuality in this dynasty, and past emperors had taken on male concubines, even showering them with affection. Even the emperor himself, curious about trying something new, had a male noble lady, or perhaps you should say noble lord, when he was young. Politically, it was no big deal to have a male concubine, because they couldn't have... what the hell? Politically, it was no big deal to have a male concubine, because they couldn't have children. Oh, right, but he's a consort. My laundry's done. It goes on for a very long time. Okay, anyway. Why does my tea taste like cereal? It's weird. Okay, sorry, it was distracting. we can get back to it. But they couldn't be one's official wife. If Prince Jing insisted on taking Liu as a concubine, perhaps the emperor would have let him. As a prince, Prince Jing was entitled to have 1 consort and 2 concubines. Merely becoming a concubine would be a great honor for a commoner like Liu, and everybody would be happy. But Prince Jing talked about the position of his consort in his letter, and that was the title he wanted to give Liu. Of course the emperor wasn't happy with that. How could a man, especially a man with no background, become the official consort of a prince? If the emperor allowed this, it would be difficult for Prince Jing to take any young noblewoman as concubines. After all, what young lady would be happy being in a lower position than a man who couldn't even bear children? Joke's on you! And her own children could only ever be shoe children. Well, guess what? He already had babies. Very quickly, the emperor came up with a bunch of reasons to refuse. He didn't agree to this marriage. It was just a clever little trick Prince Jing had played. If the emperor could be convinced that easily, he wouldn't be the emperor. But he had already officially given his approval, so he couldn't just take it back. The emperor thought about it and decided to just delay his response. He wouldn't say yes or no. If he didn't respond, Prince Jing wouldn't be able to proceed with the wedding. Sure. The emperor was quite vexed and disappointed with Prince Jing. He'd once spent a lot of time worrying about Prince Jing's marriage, but Prince Jing had seemed uninterested. Now that he finally wanted to get married, if it had been a woman who'd caught his eye, the emperor would definitely have given his blessing, but Prince Jing wanted a male consort. He'd only just started being impressed with this son, and now he'd gone and done this. Livid, the emperor decided to leave Prince Jing hanging so he could reflect on himself. He sent Prince Jing to the western border to test his abilities, not to recklessly seek a male wife. Or a male wife. Liu was not a male wife. In a fit of anger, he summoned the former Duke of Chang'an, Prince Jing's grandfather, Ye Chen, to the palace to discuss a solution with him. Ye Chen had received a message from Prince Jing a while ago, and had met Liu even earlier. In the face of the emperor's anger, Ye Chen calmly and subtly persuaded him to relax. Prince Jing wanted a male wife that had... Prince Jing wanting a male wife had made the emperor realize that it was finally time for Prince Jing to have his own family. It was improper not to have a woman by his side to take care of him. Perhaps he, the emperor, should find a woman to marry Prince Jing. Perhaps then he would stop thinking of this Liu. If he still wanted him, Liu could be a concubine. Wouldn't that be better than marrying a male consort directly? You're so silly. You don't even know. Ye Qian understood what the emperor was thinking, so he asked purposefully, "Does your majesty already have someone in mind?" The emperor had no response. This wasn't the first or even the second time that the emperor had worried about Prince Jing's marriage. It was true that Prince Jing didn't really care, but it was also true there wasn't anyone suitable. All of the All of the noble young ladies in the capital, who were of similar status to Prince Jing, had all tactfully communicated that they'd much rather be any other prince's consort. Wow. Fuck these people. They had no interest in the mute Prince Jing. There were some of lower status who were willing, but they either had bad reputations, bad appearances, or had some sort of disability, just like Prince Jing. What's wrong with that? What the fuck is wrong with that, huh? Bitches. The emperor thought none of them suitable, so he never ended up appointing a marriage for Prince Jing. Sorry, my nose is a little runny. Was there no way for his son to find a normal wife? Normal? Oh my god. The emperor's temper flared up even more. He would find a suitable wife for Prince Jing no matter what. "This servant has something to say that may not be appropriate," said Ye Qian. It's his name is Ye space Qian, Ye Qian, but it keeps reminding me of Ye Qian, Yechan from from Love Tractor. I can't. It's like pronounced the same, right? Pretty much. Ye Qian. I can't. Okay. I've never seen His Highness Prince Jing ask your majesty for anything. His Highness isn't a reckless person, so he must have truly fallen in love. His Highness is different from other people. I think perhaps he truly values this person. But how could the emperor not have already realized this? Prince Jing had subtly praised this Liu several times in his messages. The emperor knew he was a good kid and with a good character who had contributed a great deal to help Prince Jing. Otherwise, the emperor might have simply gotten rid of him. That was why the emperor was so vexed. Prince Jing truly wasn't reckless at all. He had planned this trick far in advance, thinking about the way the prince had led him here step by step, made him extremely annoyed. But somehow each step was perfectly reasonable. He couldn't find any evidence of Prince Jing tricking him. All he could manage to accuse Prince Jing of was not thinking straight and treating marriage like a joke. How dare this brat anger him like this? Wasn't he afraid he'd leave the western border forever and never let him return to the capital? The emperor knew that probably wouldn't be necessary. Prince Jing had just made a little error in judgment regarding his marriage. It was nothing compared to the second and third princes' mistakes. Princesses. Anyway. Besides, Prince Jing was now a prince with achievements under his belt. If he punished Prince Jing over this, his ministers would try to convince him against it. All he could do was scold Prince Jing in front of the old Duke of Chang'an. Ye Qian was familiar with the emperor's temperament. If the emperor was angry with the prince, Ye Qian would listen quietly, occasionally agreeing here and there without trying to convince the emperor of anything. After a while, the emperor grew bored. Empress Xiaohui had passed many years ago, and the old Duke of Chang'an was technically his father-in-law, an elder. It wasn't very proper to scold his son in front of his father-in-law. Huh? It wasn't very proper to scold his son in front... What is going on? I'm very confused, but we're gonna continue. The emperor finally calmed down a little. Soon Prince Jing's next letter arrived. It had only been a few days since he'd decided to ignore Prince Jing's last letter. Prince Jing couldn't know yet that he was avoiding responding, and the Emperor assumed this message must be unrelated. The Emperor skimmed it over. It contained another suggestion from Liu. Aside from the bandits, the Emperor had another concern. There were a few villages on the western border that suffered from locusts every year or two. The western border was often rife with battle, and there was barely any farmland. If there was a locust infestation, the villagers would have to go hungry and possibly even become homeless. The Emperor was worried that the locust problem could get worse and worse. At first, the locusts only appeared at the very border, but in the past 2 years, they had begun to spread. Every year, the Emperor allocated a lot of money toward controlling the locusts, but they were never truly eradicated. It seemed unlikely that this youth could prove more useful than the experienced officials in the Ministry of Works. But it was this youth who had helped Prince Jing defeat the bandits. The Emperor was curious. He knew Prince Jing was just trying to promote Liu, but he couldn't help it. He read on. Scene break. Scene break. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, my throat. It's not really my throat, it's more like my mouth. I can, like, taste the ash on my tongue. It's really not fun, but I am also very sensitive. In general, especially to dust and ash and shit. Very, very sensitive. Okay, so we're gonna continue. I want to get through at least 2 chapters. I really want to get to 4 chapters, or no, I should. Yeah, I want to get through 4 chapters, but we might not be able to. But we'll see. We'll see. Cute. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, the babies that Liu had given birth to were now a month old. Under Prince Jing's attentive care, their bodies started to change. They had once all been nearly transparent, but now 3 out of the 4 had the colorful scales of a koi. I wonder which one it doesn't. Oh. Dabao was a majestic fish covered in golden scales. Erbao had a gold base with flecks of silver, the opposite of Liu, who was silver with flecks of gold. Sanbao was the prettiest, silver from head to toe. From a distance, his scales looked like tiny, dazzling pearls. Gold and silver were all colors Liu had on his body. At first, since the fish babies hadn't grown gold or silver scales, Liu thought they wouldn't turn into koi. After all, his own koi status had been achieved through completing quests. He wasn't born with it, so it shouldn't be passed down to the babies. But unexpectedly, after a month, the fish babies each had their own colors. The koi appearance could be passed down after all. They just needed to grow more. Oh my god, I love Sibao. Of the 4 baby fish, Dabao, Erbao, and Sanbao had all changed colors. Only Sibao still looked the same. Liu was, of course, worried. Sibao often had a hard time keeping up with the others. Would it be the same for growing scales? Could there be such a large difference between fish from the same clutch? The fish baby still didn't quite know how to talk, only knowing a few simple words, so Liu still didn't know what Sibao was thinking. Dabao, Erbao, and Sanbao slowly started to look more and more like koi, and after another half month, Sibao finally started to change too. He's just the runt. He's just the runt of the... He's so cute. Liu had waited for this day for so long. But Sibao's scales were not the gold or silver of his brothers. They were grayish-black. He had grown into a regular small, black fish, similar to how Liu had looked when he first transmigrated. I don't know why I said that weird. Why was the difference so huge even though they were part of the same clutch of eggs? Sibao seemed to realize that he was different, and got a little dejected that he wasn't turning into a koi like the rest of his brothers. When Liu saw this, he immediately put the little black fish on his head, spinning around in circles to cheer him up. No matter if Sibao— oh, who's saying this? Oh, okay. No matter if Sibao turns into a koi or not, Daddy still loves you. Before, whenever Liu heard people say things like this, it would make him shudder. But now he said it to his baby fish without any hesitation, and Sibao quickly perked up with his father's encouragement. After that, Liu transformed into a human and put the babies into a crystal bottle to visit Prince Jing. Prince Jing was working at the moment. Every day, Liu would take the fish babies with him to visit their other dad. Although they all spent each evening in the same room, Liu was still very diligent about developing the relationship between the fish babies and Prince Jing. As soon as Prince Jing saw them, he set down his brush. Prince Jing was very happy when he realized Sibao had turned into a small black fish. Sibao's personality was a little like Liu's. Now that he looked even more like Liu used to, Prince Jing liked him even more. I'm not crying, you're crying. Not. I'm really not. Oh my god. Am I glitching? No, it's just because my hand was in front of my face. I mean, what? I don't know what's going on. Okay. Liu put more crystal— what the hell? Why did I read that? Okay. Liu put the crystal bottle on the desk and sat down to keep Prince Jing company while he read some reports. There was too much useless writing in the reports, and it was all in ancient Chinese. One word was written particularly messily. Liu struggled to read it for a while, but he wasn't able to figure it out, and he fell asleep again. He had a tendency to fall asleep when reading. As he kept nodding off, the fish babies in the crystal bottle started to bob up and down with the movement of his sleepy head. Kill me, so cute. Too distracting. Prince Jing glanced at the fish babies in the bottle and made a shushing motion. The fish babies all stopped moving. They pressed against the crystal, staring back at him with wide eyes. Prince Jing took off his outer robe and wrapped it around the sleeping Liu and himself, creating a soft, warm space just for them. Holding Liu gently, he kissed him on the lips. He had already sent the message asking the Emperor to give Liu an official title. The plan was in motion. Now they just had to wait. You're doing this in front of your children? Weirdos. After watching the robe covering his dad's rustle for a while, Dabao turned around. Without knowing why, Erbao and Sanbao followed his example and turned around too. But Sibao— what the hell? Sibao knew he was a little slower, but following Dabao was always the right move. So, half a beat later, Sibao also turned around. But he kept looking back curiously at his fathers. Liu had fallen asleep because he couldn't recognize a specific word. After a brief nap, his brain felt a little clearer, and he suddenly remembered what it meant. The word was locust, followed by the word disaster. A locust disaster. Liu was suddenly wide awake. Your Highness, have locusts appeared somewhere? This was a serious situation. Locusts ate a wide variety of crops and had a tendency to start swarming. When a swarm of locusts flew past, all the crops the farmers had carefully taken care of for the whole year would vanish into the mouths of these pests. Prince Jing told Liu about the locusts that had been spotted in a village near the western border. Liu's expression changed. Prince Jing misunderstood and thought he was afraid. He showed Liu a map of the western border and pointed out Lofeng village. Lofeng village was still very far from where the locusts appeared. They were definitely safe. Prince Jing comforted Liu. Don't be afraid. As long as he was there, he would protect Liu and the children. Liu looked up at him. No, Your Highness, I'm not frightened. I want to help the villagers and try to stop the infestation. End of chapter 1. Well, chapter 87. End of that chapter. Oh, of course he knows how to get rid of locusts. Okay, guys, how do people get rid of locusts? Actually, because I have no idea. I thought they were a force of nature that can't be moved. How does one quell locusts? I don't know. This next chapter, this next chapter is called Duck Duck Fish. Duck Duck Fish. Duck Duck Fish. Oh, ducks. Okay. Oh, that's why. Sorry. Ducks can quell locusts? That's crazy. Oh, I love ducks. Ducks are awesome. I don't even know what that is. Locusts? Locusts are transformed grasshoppers that just eat everything. Everything. So yeah, you never watched Planet Earth? You never watched the desert episode of Planet Earth? Crazy. Couldn't be me. Ugh. I love Planet Earth. Anyway. No problem. No, I just know a lot about animals, so don't feel weird about not knowing. I just know too much about animals. Alright, Duck Duck Fish. Chapter 88. It's so weird though, because you think locusts are a completely different breed, but they're actually just grasshoppers that transform into locusts. Like they fucking molt, and they only happen like, sorry, they're just so fucking weird. If you look it up, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? It's crazy. Okay, Duck Duck Fish. Duck Duck Fish. Prince Jing trusted Liu wholeheartedly, but solving the issue of locusts was no trivial matter. Prince Jing paused, holding Liu's hand in his. His gaze was worried, as though asking him, "Are you sure?" Liu giggled. "Of course, but the method is isn't very dignified." Prince Jing didn't care about dignity. When it came to getting rid of the locusts, he was more worried about Liu's safety. Usually, people got rid of locusts by burning them with fire. Although it was very effective at getting rid of many locusts at once, being so close to the fire was dangerous. Xiao Yu was a carp spirit. He probably feared fire, right? I don't know the English terms for most. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. That is fair. That is a pretty obscure one. Oh boy. I just took a shower to clear my nose. So yeah, it's working, I guess. It worked. Ow. Ow, that hurt my nose. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Where was I? Liu saw his hesitation. "Don't worry, Your Highness. I won't go by myself." There wasn't a chance he'd be doing any of this in person. Sob, sob. Don't treat him like an all-powerful Yao. He was just a fish with a system who was very afraid of bugs. Prince Jing observed Liu. Seeing that he wasn't joking, he finally nodded, letting him give it a go. Liu borrowed a brush and paper, then wrote down a few lines. It just so happened that right before he transmigrated, several countries in Liu's previous world had been suffering from locusts, and his country had lent a helping hand. He'd been curious at the time, and so he had done some cursory research on how to control locusts. Though he couldn't remember everything, he remembered a few things because he thought it was interesting. He wrote them down: deep plowing, choosing crops, and a duck army. Prince Jing had no idea what these phrases meant. Liu tried his best to explain in a way that could be understood by people in ancient times. Locust eggs are usually laid in the dirt. When plowing, if we dig a little deeper, the eggs will be exposed to the sunlight, and they'll be scorched by the sun. For the next step, locusts don't eat everything. So if we plant only crops that locusts don't eat, then they will have less food. Then they won't be able to cause much havoc. Prince Jing was an intelligent man. He immediately understood. Both these points made sense. His gaze landed on the third point. What was the duck army? Was it the kind of duck he was thinking of? Your Highness is exactly what you think, Liu blinked. Everything has a weakness. Ducks eat locusts. The first two methods are too late to use for the areas that have already been infested. But you can gather some ducks and take care of those regions. This is what's called a duck army. I read that terribly, but you get the gist. Prince Jing furrowed his brow. It would be an exaggeration to say he'd never heard of any of these things that Xiaoyu mentioned, especially not the duck army. But what he had said seemed to make sense. The fire wasn't involved either, so it would be much less dangerous. Prince Jing nodded slowly. There were a few families who owned ducks in Luofeng village, but not many. They were either used for selling or eating. Prince Jing ordered Wang Ji to buy a few. They had to try it out and see for themselves whether ducks ate locusts. Of course they do. They're ducks. Wang Ji volunteered himself for this job. The next day, he left before the sky even lightened. Not even an hour later, he came running back and said in an excited voice, Your Highness, it really works. This old servant saw with his own eyes that as soon as the ducks showed up, they ate plenty of locusts. They ate the whole time I was there without even stopping. He was in such a rush to get back and report this that he nearly lost a shoe on the way. According to Wang Ji, one duck could eat around 100 locusts in one shot. Prince Jing did some rough calculations, and his excitement grew uncontrollably. My consonants are not working today. If he sent a report to the emperor first and waited for the Ministry of Works to give him the funds to buy the ducks, the situation might get a lot worse. Prince Jing needed to strike immediately, so he ordered Wang Ji to use his own money to purchase all the ducks in the western border. If that wasn't enough, they could send someone to the other nearby counties. Liu had another idea. Your Highness, don't just buy the fully grown ones. Buy some ducklings as well, and we can start a duck farm. Ducks grow fast, so they'll soon be able to help with clearing the locusts too. Prince Jing thought about it, decided it was a good idea, and ordered Wang Ji to go ahead. A single duck wasn't expensive, and Prince Jing had plenty of money. The people of Luofeng village were all grateful to Prince Jing for defeating the bandits. When they found out he was looking to buy ducks, they all brought their ducks over, and many of them refused to accept money. Several nearby counties heard that Prince Jing was buying ducks to control the locusts, and out of curiosity, they sent flock after flock. Sorry, it's just so silly. Duck army. Prince Jing ordered guards to be stationed along the way to ensure the villagers' safety, as well as to prevent any looting bandits. But when the bandits heard that Prince Jing planned on eradicating the locusts, they were all eager to see him fail, and they lost interest in stealing ducks for the time being. In no time at all, Wang Ji was able to gather 5,000 live ducks and just over 1,000 ducklings. That's crazy. I just read that. The ducklings needed to be fed, so the ducks were gathered together into a duck army and set off loudly to the most affected village. Prince Jing headed over himself. After just a day, they had made encouraging progress. The duck army really could eat. A small group of ducks was able to clean out nearly all the locusts in an acre of land in just half a day. What previously frustrated the villagers was that locusts didn't live for very long. Even if they burned all the locusts around them, another wave would quickly replace it, and there was danger of the fire spreading. Now they didn't have to worry at all. The ducks could keep eating for days on end, and there was no other risks. There was also very little loss. But by the time an entire village was taken care of, they had lost less than 10% of the ducks. They had lost less than 10% of the ducks? They lost the ducks? I'm sorry, what? Why are they losing ducks? I'm confused. The ducks were truly a fascinating army. Smiling, Prince Jing gave Liu a thumbs up and continued to order Wang Ji to buy ducks from the surrounding area. By the way, there's an illustration of this, of Prince Jing and Wang Ji overlooking a field of ducks. So silly. It's just like a beautiful field with mountains in the back and then ducks everywhere. So cute. It's so fucking cute. Oh, I can't deal with it. But Wang Ji ran into a problem during his second round of duck purchasing. He noticed that once it had gotten around that what the hell? He noticed that once it had gotten around that they needed ducks, some merchants had been purchasing them at cheap prices from local farmers in advance and wanted to sell them to him for a higher price. Fuck you, die! Ugh. Fucking scalpers. Wang Ji couldn't be more furious. When he reported it to Prince Jing, Liu was bewildered. After all, stocking up on food and water was understandable. Who stocked up on ducks? Besides, couldn't they grow a brain? Prince Jing was purchasing ducks to help alleviate the locust situation. How could someone try to make a profit off of a plague? I wonder. This isn't just exactly correlating to what's happening now. If the locusts ate all the crops, where would they get food? An opportunity to make 3 times the profit was enough for them to forfeit their life, huh? Prince Jing was prepared. He gave Wang Ji a glance, ordering him to make a record of who was doing this. Those duck scalpers could keep on stocking up. There was no need to pay them any mind. This time, Wang Ji wasn't able to get very many ducks and was worried he was causing a delay. Prince Jing was unruffled. He looked at Liu. Could we buy chickens? We could buy chickens too, right? Chickens are fine too, but they don't eat as much as ducks. Liu nodded repeatedly. Yeah. His Highness knew about this as well? Prince Jing just wanted anything that could eat locusts, so he ordered Wang Ji to buy some chickens. Meanwhile, the duck farm Liu had asked for was ready. He hired a few brave people to raise the ducks. With locusts as feed, the ducks grew quickly. Just as the duck army was starting to run short, the ducklings grew up to fill the ranks. Not to mention the duck army laid plenty of eggs. Liu was delighted. It's a good thing your Highness bought a lot the first time. Now we can replenish the ducks. These days, Wang Ji, the head eunuch of a prince's manor, was busy buying chickens and ducks and hatching eggs. Prince Jing smiled confidently and took over. Oof, inhaled too strong. His Highness was very experienced in egg incubation. As for the people who were hoarding ducks, they never managed to get Prince Jing to purchase them, and eventually they couldn't afford to keep storing them. Ducks were livestock. Unlike grain, they couldn't be stored in a warehouse. They had to be fed and taken care of. If they weren't careful, the ducks died or escaped. Seeing as Prince Jing was no longer buying any more ducks, the merchants were dumbfounded. What were they going to do with all these ducks? Who else but Prince Jing could afford such a vast quantity of ducks here at the western border? These people were afraid of not making their money back, so they personally went to apologize to Wang Ji. With Prince Jing's reminder, Wang Ji stood with his back ramrod straight and haggled the price down again and again, nearly grinding the merchants down to the bone. In the end, he only agreed to buy the ducks at the price way lower than market value. The duck army and duck farm were both running smoothly now. Liu had gone to the duck farm before and taken a look everywhere. With his modern sensibilities, he suggested a lot of improvements. He thought the ducklings in the farm were all adorable too. On a whim, he bought 2 yellow ducklings and started taking care of them at home. When the fish babies saw the new and exciting ducklings, they were overcome with excitement, just like their fish dad. Oh boy. The crystal bottle almost couldn't contain them. All 4 babies, even Seabow, the poor thing, were jumping up and down eagerly. Lee was afraid that the ducklings would eat the fish, so he refused to let them get close. He only let the babies look from a distance. Seabow really liked the beautiful ducklings. Seabow really liked the beautiful ducklings. Once, when Liu was taking an afternoon nap, he snuck out of the crystal bottle to go play with the ducks. Seabow! Seabow, no! Seabow, you can't do that! The afternoon nap was a habit Liu had picked up after giving birth. Apparently, sleeping a lot as a child led to good development. So Liu wanted the fish babies to sleep more. Every day when the time came, he'd take a nap with the fish babies. But the fish babies were all lively and liked to move around. Before Liu fell asleep, they would get into the fish blanket with him. Once Liu had drifted off, though, they'd dart out from the blanket and play on their own. Stupid. That was how Seabow came to leap out of the crystal bottle. Luckily, Prince Jing had the foresight to spread a thick carpet on the ground just in case. Seabow wasn't injured from the landing, but he was just a small, palm-sized fish. He completely forgot that it would be hard for him to get anywhere after he left the crystal bottle and fish tank. Seabow! Soon after landing, he started to feel uncomfortable. Dabao, Erbao, and Sambao all swam to the edge of the crystal bottle worriedly, looking down at Seabow as he struggled. Their brother was in danger! Dabao jumped out without hesitation, and Erbao and Sambao followed. They all wanted to save Seabow. I'm gonna cry. Fine. I'm fine. But now all 4 fish babies were flopping around on the ground instead of just Seabow. Liu had only slept for a little while. Every so often he had to wake up and check on the fish babies. Almost immediately he realized all 4 of them had jumped out of the bottle. Liu was scared nearly half to death and hurriedly gathered them all back inside. Seabow was terrified. He stuck closely to Liu, who was both angry and worried. It was hard for him to blame this worrisome, confused baby, so he fed Seabow some fish food to distract him. But even while he was eating, Seabow continued to cling to him. I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm not. I'm not. Leo wanted to know what was up with Seabow, so he tried to get him to speak. Seabow spoke a little unclearly. Daddy, what duckies? Leo figured out that Seabow ended up on the floor because he wanted to see the ducks. Why did Seabow like ducks so much? Uh-oh. Leo thought about this a bit, then took Seabow to see the adult ducks with a mischievous smile on his face. He's gonna traumatize his kid more? Oh boy. After seeing the big ducks and their big beaks and longer and bendier necks, as well as their much larger size, you asshole! Seabow burst into tears when he thought about the small fuzzy ducklings. He was already traumatized. You traumatized him a second time, you fucking bitch, Liu! I will kill you. I will kill you personally. I will do it. I will do it. And I'll take care of your fish babies better. Oh my god, what an ass. Granted, he is only like 18, 19. Is he 19 by now? When is his birthday? I swear to god. Now that he'd teased Seabow, Liu went to tease Dabao. Dawa had failed to save his younger brother, and the attempt resulted in him and his brothers all on the floor. Dawa knew he'd made a mistake. As soon as Liu approached him, he apologized on his own. Dad, I'm sorry. Liu, who also liked exploring, asked, "Oh, can you tell Dad what you did wrong?" "I wasn't strong enough to bring my brother back." Dawa was a little downtrodden and embarrassed. "What? Hello, son, please wake up. Your mistake wasn't that you weren't strong enough." Daobao, unaware of his father's complaints, said sincerely, "I want to become the strongest fish and protect my brothers and you, Dad." Liu felt like he could almost see Dabao's determination. Seriously, they were all born from the same clutch, but Sibao couldn't even speak properly, while Dabao was already announcing his aspirations. "Dabao, you're a good kid." Liu patted him comfortingly with the fin. "But you have to know your own strength." Dabao was confused. What did know your own strength mean? Liu taught him. It means Dabao can only protect his fathers and brothers after he grows up. Dabao nodded, only half understanding. That's not true. That's not true. You can protect them other ways. Then Dabao wants to grow up quickly. Aigo. 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 Jeez, it was a bit over the top, but why did he feel warm all over from Dabao's words? Thanks to the hard work of the Duck Army, the locust disaster had been brought under control. Although a few acres were facing repeat infestations, with the Duck Army at its current power, the locusts would soon be taken care of. Although they got the locusts under control this year, that didn't mean they'd be able to just relax in the future. Locusts were hard to deal with because they always came back. But now that they knew how to deal with it, it wasn't a big deal if they returned. All the villagers along the western border who could afford a few ducks now kept ducks. Ducks were quite a valuable thing. Not only could they be sold for money, they could be eaten, and they could get rid of locusts. But in the end, the issue of where to store the duck army fat from their locust feasts, had became a headache. Liu's eyes went bright at all the ducks. Remembering something, he started drooling a little, and said to Prince Jing, "Your Highness, let's eat roasted duck." Prince Jing had eaten the smashed cucumbers Liu had made himself without batting an eye. Roast duck was nothing. Prince Jing nodded, and the Chuanju at the western border was open. His footnote is Chuanju is a famous, long-standing Peking duck restaurant from Beijing. Beijing. That's stupid. It's fucking stupid as hell. Okay, I'm going to refill my tea. And run an ad. And we'll come back to this with chapter 89 called Stuffed Fish. Okay, I will be right back. Burb. I'm back. I'm back. I have more tea. Actually, it's just watered down tea with honey. Watered down tea. Oh boy. Oh boy. Sorry. Everything is falling. Everything's falling, but it's fine. It's fine. It's just my headphones that fall all the time. I'm gonna get back. Okay. Okay, how we doing? How we feeling? How you feeling out there? I should not be this. I'm not tired. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of the ash in there. You know, people died. I think it's like 5 people, at least 5 people confirmed deaths with the fires. Which is pretty fucking bleak, and like a lot injured. I'm so like 1,000% sure that this has caused a myriad of a plethora of long-lasting health issues. What with the literal poison in the air? Yeah. Thanks for that. Anyway. It's like I'm complaining about the tiniest things, but people have actually lost their homes and lives and people that they love. It's just insane. It's insane. I just want to acknowledge that I understand that, but I am allowed to complain about little things. All right. Oh, I'm so yawny today. Ew. I'm just waiting for my tea to cool down. In the meantime, how are you? I got another monitor. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy and it fucks up a lot, but it's okay. I needed another monitor for my for some maybe future projects. Because doing everything on 2 monitors is just not enough. It's just not enough. So yeah. It's really good for streaming, but it also is very silly because it's just very silly. It's been putting like rotating all my shit onto the next monitor like around. Oh my god, it's so silly. Also, when I went to go draw on Clip Studio, it had my tablet connected to the top monitor and it's like, oh, I gotta draw up there. What the fuck, bro? Anyway, it's just very nonsensical. Tea. Oh my god, I watched the Wallace and Gromit movie yesterday, the new one. That thing is crazy. Wallace and Gromit is so scary. It's fucking creepy as hell. It's still a good time, but like, oh my god. Why? Really, why? I fucking hate Wallace. Wallace is such a gaslighter, and he's not even a girl boss. Just a gaslighter. The hell, man, he's so annoying. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Chapter 89. Stuff. Oh, oops. I hit everything. Okay, stuffed fish. What? I'm ready. Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready for it. I'm not gonna sing that song. The locusts would. Nope, I wasn't ready. The locusts would be completely exterminated any day now. Prince Jing had already presented Liu's idea to the emperor in his letters, and they were on their way to the capital. Now he wrote a more detailed report on the status of the locusts in each village. In his letter, he had mentioned his marriage with Liu, but the emperor hadn't responded, so Prince Jing knew he was just letting it sit. Before he managed before he made his request clear, he had already revealed plenty of Xiao Yu's good points and had taken advantage of the emperor's good mood. The emperor hadn't denied his request outright, which meant he was still thinking about it. So if he sent this letter over to the emperor, the emperor would surely be swayed. Of course, he couldn't reveal Xiao Yu's true identity, but he hoped just this letter would be enough for the emperor to see how good Xiao Yu was. Even if he didn't have a distinguished background, even if he couldn't bear children, he was more than qualified to stand at his side as his consort. He'd never asked the emperor for anything in his life. He could fight for the spot of crown prince with his own abilities. He didn't need to ask for that. The only thing he wanted was this marriage. He had considered whether this would anger the emperor, whether this would completely put an end to his bid for the throne, but if that were the case... Prince Jing glanced at Liu, who was teaching the babies how to play tug-of-war. Although the western border was desolate, he had already had some of the happiest times of his life here, living together as a family of 6. If the emperor really chose to give up on him, then he would ask to stay at the western border forever. That way, he and Zhao Yu could still be together. But that was the worst-case scenario. It shouldn't get to that point. He had other tricks up his sleeve. In the end, Prince Jing sent their marriage contract in the letter to the emperor. When the emperor received Prince Jing's next letter, he noticed it came with a marriage contract. The emperor was very unhappy with Prince Jing for deciding on this without consulting him first, but at the same time, the emperor understood that Prince Jing had sent the marriage certificate because he was making his position clear. It was a silent plea. In his memory, Prince Jing had never asked him for anything, even when the emperor had sent him to the western border immediately after receiving Prince Jing's birthday gifts. The prince hadn't asked for any leniency. He just accepted, bowed in farewell, and left the capital. Prince Jing had a cold personality, and that was how the emperor expected him to behave. But now, he realized Prince Jing had a stubborn side. To an emperor, stubbornness wasn't a good thing, but who didn't have something they weren't stubborn? But who didn't have something they were stubborn about? The emperor wasn't perfect either. The emperor could tell the words, "An eternal happy union," were written in Prince Jing's handwriting. This was the marriage contract Prince Jing himself had written. It was clear how seriously he took this marriage. Prince Jing must really be in love. He thought back to the true love the old Duke of Chang'an had jokingly mentioned. The emperor had been on the throne for many years, and he could just laugh it off. But now his heart felt inexplicably heavy. He put the marriage contract away in his report box, then opened Prince Jing's letter. It was probably full of praise for Liu. Last time, the youth had suggested many unique ideas for controlling the locusts. The emperor had asked officials from the Ministry of Works to take a look. They all said the suggestions made sense, that they should be tried if the chance arose. The emperor didn't say anything, but in his heart he respected Liu. Gaining the approval of the Ministry of Works meant he was capable. So what did the letter contain this time? The emperor was done reading the letter. He found that Prince Jing had already used Liu's suggestions against the locusts on the western border. If this task was given to any of the officials in the Ministry of Works, they would have come up with a detailed plan and have the Minister of Works approve it. After discussing it in court, they would have to wait for the Ministry of Revenue to provide the money, but doing so would take months. Only once all the bureaucracy was out of the way could the Ministry of Works send someone to the affected areas. But Prince Jing never mentioned any of this in his reports. He just spent his own money and got it done. Not only that, he had done a good job. The locusts at the western border had been taken care of. Damn insolent brat. The emperor couldn't decide what he was feeling. Was Prince Jing throwing his achievements in his face because he hadn't responded to his last letter? He was a little angry, but honestly, he couldn't deny that Prince Jing had done a beautiful job. After all, out of all his sons, the one who was most decisive, the one most to his liking, was Prince Jing. The locust issue at the western border had been bad enough that it caused him unease. If he had followed the normal procedure, who knew what the situation would be like now? The officials strictly followed the rules and regulations. Ooh, I inhaled really deeply with that. Okay, sorry. The officials strictly followed the rules and regulations, and while they deliberated, the people suffered. In comparison, Prince Jing was a little more rash, but he had controlled the locusts effectively. The emperor put down the letter, deep in thought. When he looked up again, he noticed there were a few reports from counties around the western border. Skimming through them, the emperor found out that Prince Jing had bought a large number of ducks to control the locusts. causing quite a stir in the counties. But all of them were grateful to Prince Jing. If the locust problem hadn't been solved, it would be their turn to suffer in the future. One of the reports was quite descriptive. The Emperor could almost see the ducks flapping chaotically about in front of him. He smiled. Somehow, sending Prince Jing to the western border had allowed him to gain power. He hadn't expected it would turn out this way. He could allow Prince Jing to continue growing due to his achievements, or he could choose to punish him for tricking him. Choosing such an impossible candidate for his wife still made the Emperor indescribably displeased. No, what? The Emperor incredibly displeased. My nose is clogged again. The Emperor suddenly remembered something and flipped to the end of Prince Jing's letter. As expected, Prince Jing credited all the success to Liu. All of this had been to pave the way for Liu. Even though he couldn't just ask, the Emperor wanted to know what the prince would choose. The position of crown prince or his consort? The Emperor sighed and once again didn't respond to the letter. Prince Jing's actions on the western border weren't a secret. News had long since spread through the court. At first, when they found out Prince Jing had been sent to the western border, many of the officials thought the prince had somehow offended the Emperor. But the sixth prince started to worry. Prince Jing had clearly won during the Emperor's birthday. If the Emperor was truly angry with him, why hadn't he scolded him in front of everyone? And the house of Chang'an, the Duke of Chang'an, and Ye Qinghuan were all on Prince Jing's side. They were Prince Jing's biggest backers. But Prince Jing had already left the capital, and none of them had tried to ask the Emperor for forgiveness. This meant Prince Jing had probably warned them in advance. Mu Tianzhao still couldn't work out why the Emperor had sent Prince Jing to the border. But soon the unease he felt was smoothed out by the Emperor. Due to the nursery rhymes and fake monks, the Emperor had the third and sixth princes beaten and punished. The Emperor's punishment for the third prince was truly harsh, but he'd only been angry with the sixth prince by association. Even so, accordingly, he'd taken away the sixth prince's job. In order to regain the Emperor's trust, Mu Tianzhao had made many preparations. In the end, his hard work paid off, and after Prince Jing left, the Emperor had given him Prince Jing's job at the Ministry of Works. Oh. Prince Jing had completed Prince Jing had completed most of the job already, so all the Hello? Okay. Prince Jing had completed most of the job already, so all the sixth prince had to do was to clean up the loose ends. The Emperor had even appointed a deputy minister to guide him. There was no way anything could go wrong. He had basically been given a free achievement. Although the Ministry of Works was the least respected of the six ministries, and fixing Zhongshui Palace wasn't a very dignified job. At the very least, it was clear that the Emperor held the sixth prince. It was clear the Emperor held the sixth prince, who was here by his side, in higher regard than Prince Jing, who was thousands of miles away. Mu Tianzhao made up his mind. Prince Jing was mute after all, and the western border was full of strife and turmoil. If he did a little something at just the right time, perhaps he could get rid of Prince Jing for good. You fucking bitch. You think you're gonna kill the protagonist just like that, you idiot. You idiot. Then, instead of dying quietly, Prince Jing killed the why can't I say bandits? Bandits. Prince Jing killed the bandits. Several ministers praised him vocally, and the Emperor was in a great mood. Now, whatever achievements the sixth prince had gained through fixing Zhongshui Palace were insignificant. An official who was a secret supporter of the Sixth Prince mentioned his work during court, but very quickly he was drowned out by praise for Prince Jing. That was when Mu Tianxiao fully realized that despite being at the distant border, Prince Jing was still his enemy. Now he was hearing Prince Jing had managed to eradicate the locusts on the western border. The emperor should have been happy and heavily rewarded Prince Jing, but this time, when the officials praised Prince Jing, the emperor seemed somewhat displeased. Mu Tianxiao picked up on this and sent someone to Changqing Palace and Prince Jing's manor to see what was going on. That was when he discovered a great secret. Prince Jing had fallen in love with a youth at the western border and dared ask the emperor for permission to marry him. Prince Jing was mute, and he might pass that along to his children. Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch-ass. I'll bury you alive. If he also got married to a male consort who couldn't bear children. All of this was great news to the Sixth Prince. If Mu Tianxiao had dreamt this, he'd wake himself up laughing. When he found out how much of a headache this was for the emperor, Mu Tianxiao decided he had to do everything in his power to make this happen. What an idiot. What an idiot. He's always wrong. You're working against yourself, my guy. Where was I? Okay. He knew the emperor still had regrets about Empress Xiaohui, so he asked his mother, Consort Jiang, to speak up. Recently, the emperor had picked the daughter of the Marquis of a Marquis for the Sixth Prince to marry. Consort Jiang went to thank the emperor, and she took the opportunity to start reminiscing about Empress Xiaohui. Oh boy. Consort Jiang had once been Empress Xiaohui's servant, so she was deeply grateful to the empress for her current life. While she spoke about Empress Xiaohui, she accidentally, in quotations, mentioned that the emperor had always wished for Prince Jing to lead a safe and happy life. Yeah, he's safe and happy right now. Oh my god. She said that on purpose, of course, but it got the emperor thinking. It was rare for Consort Jiang to say such things, considering her status, and she said it with such sincerity that it was quite believable. Oh, I just realized that was the point. Okay, never mind. Adding this on top of all the praise Prince Jing had heaped onto Liu in his letters. When he returned to Changqing Palace, the emperor sat by himself for 2 hours, deep in thought. In the end, he finally wrote down his response to Prince Jing. Liu's character is worthy of the title of consort. But, unfortunately, due to the fact that he is a man and cannot bear children, he can only be given the position of concubine. When Liu found out about this, he ran to comfort Prince Jing. At least the emperor had agreed to the two of them staying together. They had a long future ahead of them. Perhaps if he acquired more achievements, the emperor would promote him to consort in a fit of joy. When Prince Jing received the emperor's reply, he smiled. After all his planning, this was the exact response he had been waiting for. As long as the only reason the emperor gave was that Liu couldn't bear children, then all his problems would be solved. Liu had already given him 4 fishy sons, considering how long it would take them to transform. Now was the exact right time to announce the pregnancy. Originally, Prince Jing had planned to invent a non-existent concubine to say the children were hers. Once he had children, it would be far easier to convince the emperor. But firstly, he was afraid this ruse would fall apart as soon as Liu had more children, and secondly, he was afraid the emperor would still refuse because Liu still couldn't give birth. Why did he have to invent a whole other person? He could just say Zhao Yu was special and could give birth. Even if no one else had heard of such a thing, it didn't mean it couldn't exist. Although it was a little unbelievable, there would be proof once the fish babies transformed. As the emperor had clearly said, due to the fact that he is a man and cannot bear children, he wouldn't be able to refute himself. There were many inconveniences in the western border, but there was one thing that was very convenient indeed. As long as he said Li Gongzi was pregnant, no one would be able to question it. If the emperor sent a gynecological expert, by the time they arrived at the border, the fish babies would have already been born, quote unquote, turning into human children. The reason why he hadn't mentioned this at the very beginning was because he was afraid the emperor would choose a different reason to deny him. Prince Jing had taken step after careful step, slowly dispelling any hesitation he might have towards Xiao Yu. Just so that only this one reason remained. Although it was a little difficult, he could deal with it. Prince Jing put a hand on Liu's stomach and patted it. It was about time to stuff a little pillow inside. And that's the end of that chapter. Oh, and I think that's where we will stop today. My voice is getting a little bit used up. But yeah. Oh my god, I can't wait for the next one though. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so cute. Ah! It's too cute. It's too cute. If you want to know, the next chapter is called Fishy Babies Transform. Transform! They become human. Ah, they're so cute. They're so cute. It's an illustration, but I won't tell you now. I'll tell you later. It's so cute, but we will stop today. Here. That's where we're stopping now. And I'll get back to it on next Friday. Oh, yippee! Oh my god. I gotta go lie down. I do have to lie down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but oh, I have to take care of myself. Also, Apothecary Diaries is supposed to come out today. Season 2. So, you know, it's basically the same thing. Listen, it has pretty much the same energy. It's a bit darker, but it's similar energy. And I love it. Okay. I'm going to rest. And hopefully I'll be a-okay for karaoke stream on Sunday at 3 p.m. Yippee! Yeah, yes, my brain isn't working anymore. I've been reading too many words and I can't form them in my brain manually. Anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 You take care of yourself too. I will. I will probably make my schedule today as well. We have some fun stuff to do next week. I actually don't know. I mean, obviously Fishy Friday, but on Wednesday I'm gonna be streaming with Yaki again. I'll be streaming with Yaki. We're doing more Touch Starved stuff. We're gonna finish Touch Starved because we didn't quite finish it on their, what was it, was it their birthday stream? No, it was their subathon. It was their subathon stream. Yeah, we didn't quite finish it then, so we're gonna finish it and then we're gonna do some art after that. So yeah, it'll be fun. That's what I have planned for next week. Other than that, Monday the 13th, Friday 17th, Wednesday 15th. Yeah, that's about it for now. I might do a Monday stream. Monday. I actually, you know what? I probably won't do a Monday stream because on Sunday I'll be doing my karaoke, so I might be resting on Monday. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. So that's that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and hope you enjoyed. And now, stay safe. Seriously, seriously, stay safe. Oh my god. What the fuck? I know you don't have much of a say in how safe you stay, but you do have a say when it comes to masking. So mask up, stay safe, and have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.